town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe trying to protect your soul.
Welcome in here, ladies and gentlemen, to the South American Rematch. My name is Wolfie 2 in the booth with Ellington. Ellington, we've seen a lot of rematch over the other regions, but now South America has a chance to impress.
Absolutely. And I must say, it is about time that we can finally
Mhm.
be able to have the opportunity to see what South America has to offer. Obviously, we've seen that in NA, we have a bunch of volley tech. I do know that in Japan, we actually have a more tiki taka style in comparison. And then obviously for Europe, we see a lot more set plays. So I'm personally excited just to see exactly what SA has to bring to the table in the game of rematch.
Well, everyone looks at South America and they always say Sam has the best footballers out of everywhere. And, I think that the Europe boys over there in EU, they want to be able to contest that. They want to be able to say, hey, we're the best, but it's not their shine right now. They can do that on land. But tonight, online in the qualifier, what are you really hoping to see from this region? I know we're here for the Godspeed team stream, so we'll be following them throughout their Swiss bracket. But, we talk about other regions in terms of play style. What are you hoping to watch here tonight?
I'm mainly wanting to see, just like I said previously, what they're able to bring to the table. I hope to
Mhm.
see a bit more of a hybrid, just because it is South America. They have always had part of this
Yeah.
part of their culture, specifically for football itself. So I'm excited to
Mhm.
see what exactly they're able to come up with. I'm excited to see probably. I'm assuming we'll probably see like quicker volleys, a mixture of both tiki taka and volley set plays.
Mhm.
But I'm just really excited to see what we're able to see, since this is more of a not necessarily new developing scene. I mean, it is relatively new, as especially since this is like what, season 0 for South America for Rematch Esports, and for us following for Godspeed, right?
Yeah, I would say almost. I know this team, they did compete on land there in South America a couple months ago, and I believe they have a land in coming up in November where they'll see a lot of the teams that they see online in person. And I'm told that's sponsored by Slow Clap. So Slow Clap is saying, hey. Let's make a big clap for Slow Clap right now, saying we need to start getting some lands going. We'll be able to do in South America. But I really feel that, coming in tonight, we look at the names for this team. They were under the name Overdose for the longest time, and under there, I believe they won 33 championships, 33 titles for themselves. So putting that under their belt, weren't able to really get it through last week in the grand finals. Lost to SPK, a very formidable name in every region, and number two ain't bad, but this team's looking to really go over that hump and say they're the number one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, SPK is absolutely deadly inside Europe, as well as
Mhm.
NA. I'm not entirely too familiar with the SA groups, as far as I'm aware, but I do know that obviously there's Strive and V3. We obviously know the
Yeah.
SPKs here. Obviously, we have Godspeed, but I think those are like the only major orgs that if I remember correctly, at least from what I'm seeing, those are the major orgs that we see from all regions in comparison.
Mhm.
So the rest of it we should be seeing just from straight SA.
Yeah, and it's one where looking at the team for tonight, Drago United Esports, they're going to look to see if they can get themselves going, and that's an org I believe I've seen in Rocket League. So one that's saying, hey, we branched out, and that's one thing I've loved being able to watch is that we're starting to see more orgs start populating the scene, and for South America, for NA, and for EU, they're starting to see where Rematch is going, and the skill right now really trying to show that off.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the skill level for Rematch itself, it's still growing as it's in
Hmm.
its own in comparison to Rocket League, where Rocket League has been around since, what is it, 2015, and then ever since then,
Yeah.
people are just continuously still finding mechanics. They're still finding ways to kind of shake up the game, and it's so diverse because you're able to hit those aerials for Rocket League, and we still have yet to see that growth for Rematch itself.
Yeah.
But we always have innovators on the scene. Like I know in North America, we have Ed Boy, who is the designated like dribble teacher. Really, he even has his own space inside of some Rematch discourse that is called,
Wow.
I think it's called like Ed Boy's Tech Room or something like that. And he posts like new dribble moves that he has learned, and he's showing it to a bunch of people. So there are people that are paving the road to be able to
Mhm.
find these new tech for Rematch to continue to grow, which is exactly what we want to see.
Well, the growth of Rematch continues to grow. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, get to our Discord. You want to continue watching out, helping us grow here at Godspeed. Smash the heart button, leave a follow, and this is where, for Godspeed, I think the fans, they're ready for it. And, being one of the first team streams here in South America, and especially first English team stream, this gets a chance for the boys in Europe and North America to really be able to come in here, have a look, have a listen, and say, hey, what do we need to be able to? And maybe there's something that we can try to look into. But when you look at potentially what we're looking into tonight, with Godspeed were able to go 3-1, lost their first game on stream. And do you think that looking at getting a second place, is there any pressure to try to follow that up here, or it's just one kind of just play your game, whoever's in front of you is in front of you?
Well, when it comes to being newer to the scene, it definitely is very
Mhm.
important for you to show up and show out, especially in the first year, your first ever showing, especially the first
Mhm.
season that is being broadcasted in partnership with Rematch Esports. But of course, if you're knocked out, the best thing you can do is hit that second place. But of course, everyone's gunning for that first. You have to be the
Yeah.
one to get those bragging rights, to be the guys that people talk about, and to be the staple for people to look at and say, I want to beat those guys here.
Well, looking at the difference in last week to this week, ladies and gentlemen, one big difference is that the subs had to come in for Godspeed last week. Power outages all across Brazil. So, unfortunately, due to weather, no internet. They probably have Spectrum over there as well. And, for us in the States, it's old Spectrum. But, I feel for Godspeed, they played with their manager last week in Lux. They were able to go 3-1. But today, they got all five. Is that different for yourself, knowing that you have everyone that you've been practicing with, who you've been scrimmaging with? There's no difference in who you're seeing on the pitch now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, subs are subs for a reason. I mean, we know this
Mhm.
for a fact. Like they're there and they're not the main, but they still have the skill to back it up. Which
Yes.
is it's just they just probably won't have as much chemistry with the rest of the boys as they would. So coming in with subs is definitely not the ideal way that you want to start out with, but they are that kind of downplays their skill as a sub, because they
Mhm.
themselves are very skilled as itself, and you should never put down subs just because, for the pure fact that there could be hidden talent that is hiding inside the sub line.
Well, hidden talent on full display, ladies and gentlemen. Game number one of this best of three. Godspeed versus Drago United Esports.
Well, starting us off currently, we have Dragon currently with the ball. Rafx currently with the ball, being pressured by Godspeed for Samuel, opting to hit a back pass. Seems there might have been a slight miscommunication on the current location of Duduk for Dragons, trying to hit a quick B pass. Lost currently with the ball, gets stabbed by Panda. Fantastic pickup by Texas to be able to start their counterplay for Godspeed.
Oh, we talk about in every region. The keepers are you always have to keep an eye on. In Texas, one of those where, he's in this spot today and, for this squad, looking to really keep that score sheet as level as possible. But Panda trying to see if he can take away the tie. And that one, beautiful pass. Jay able to push it through.
Yeah, fantastic pull through here. We're definitely going to have to take a quick look at the replay here. A good follow-up, hitting on that line and getting really close to that back wall. I mean, trapping yourself against that back wall is very dangerous, just because it limits your pass options as well, because you have to try and hit it more at a deeper angle. But it's fantastic to see that they're able to find these lines and still hit that follow through. Dragon currently with the ball.
All right, this is where for Godspeed continue trying to put on the aggression, but just going to hold things off here. And I like the pace here. This is a team I felt in their previous week they were just trying to go too quick. And for a lot of squads getting to New York, you want to be able to show out quick, and sometimes it bites you. But unfortunately, nothing to chew on there for Godspeed. The attack cut away. Drago United not going to see if they can find anyone with some space.
Absolutely, the keeper now moving up, slowly trying to find any space that he can find. Dudax moving up on the left wing, trying to find a pass, but is getting pressured by Godspeed Samuel. Immediately finds it over to Neymar. Neymar trying to hit the pass out, trying to get it clear. It's a little bit far away, but he does get it over to Rafx. Rafx trying to get it, but it does get knocked away by the defender Panda, knocking him back over to Godspeed's keeper for them to continue up and serve up, as they do have that 1 point over Dragon Unite.
Well, we'll see how long that one holds. And one is one where you look at it as not enough safety net, but Jay says, give us a second, Wolfie. We're going for a deuce.
Fantastic follow-up and fantastic looks for Godspeed. I mean, this is exactly what they're wanting to kind of show up and be able to put these points on the board. 2 points up in the best of three. I mean, this is the best case scenario that they can have. Now, that being said, it is normally the first game where they you know, both teams are kind of putting out feelers, right? So there could be a deceptiveness to Drago Unite to try and, like, you know, play a little bit back, play a little bit more defensive to try and, like, really get a feel of what Godspeed has to offer before kind of showing up and fully trying to lock out a competition. But only time will tell, as we have 3 minutes and was it 27 seconds left on the clock.
Well, time's a ticking, and Drago United trying to put themselves in a position to at least be one goal down. And you know, it seems that they've had some options. Texas has done a great job of being able to stop some great passes there near net. But you know, it's going to be up to Drago United. Can you find the difference here? And we always say it only takes one, especially in game one. And Hate Me is going to find the first one.
This is absolutely everything that you want to see from team play. I mean, they're starting to come back. They just have one additional goal that they have to make to be able to get an equalizer here. With 3 minutes remaining, you know, that's a lot of time to play with. But of course, in pro play, it's a lot less forgiving than what one would think, right? So the 3 minutes, even though it sounds like a lot, when you're fighting people at the exact same skill level as you, it's actually not as much as you need, especially when you're trying to get these pass plays out as quick and as fast as possible.
Well, tempo right now. Godspeed continue trying to set it. Another goal can definitely get him there. And the keeper, unable to hold the water, jumps out of the way, and the header behind the net for Godspeed.
Yeah, this is absolutely not something that Drago United is wanting. Absolutely not. I mean, the momentum is always the way that this game plays. Once you start getting a pickup and once you start getting good looks, this is something that you as the opposing team do not want them to have. So Drago United is really going to have to try and find an answer here to be able to actually have a counter response to be able to try and put Godspeed out. But it might be Godspeed that might be locking it away as they get their counter possession. Samuel moving up quick, trying to find L on the run. Let's see if he can find it. It's a little laggy on my side, so I'm a little late. He does score it, Jay. Fantastic strike.
You need them. They keep going to the man that only needs one letter. J has been electric, has himself a hat trick, and now 2-14. Godspeed 1 goal away from a mercy rule.
Absolutely. Drago United lost immediately passing over to Raf, but almost does a quick conversion over to Panda. Quick pass back for them to be able to really solidify their players for a next counterplay. Moving up, immediately passing over to Raf X. Immediately following up, trying to find Lost. Lost handing over to top box. Gus does get blocked out by the top box defender. Still getting pushed out. This could go into Drago's play, but no, trying to get a clear from Godspeed. It falls in the hands of Texas for their keeper, and immediately starting their quick counterplay on the left wing. Galileo immediately passing over to Jay, knocked out from Drago's defenders.
This is where Drago, they need to defend. This last thing you want is a mercy rule in game number 1. This back line. You know, they've done well being able to cut away a lot of Godspeed's opportunities, but you know, it's just been Godspeed not going for the initial first shot, finding ways to see if that keeper's going to jump, and you know, so far he has. He's going to look to try to get those adjustments, but lost, found a goal.
I mean, this is once again, this is that kind of battle that you need from both teams. You need to try and find any good looks that you can have, and it just seems that Drago is starting to pick up. But well, is there enough time for them to be able to have enough time to get these good looks out? I mean, with 1 minute remaining, I mean, normally it takes around 8 seconds to cross an entire field to get a possession, and not only that, but it's starting in Godspeed's hands. So, I mean, there's only one way to see if they're able to speed up their own pace and if they're able to be aggressive enough to get an equalizer here with 2 points that they need.
Well, 2 points is what the difference is. Godspeed is trying to see if they can dwindle down this time just a little longer. Great tackle there to try to take that away and just continue to pick the pockets. A little frustrating for yourself, but the crossbar will not help. Pops that out, pops that in. The gloves of the keeper there. Godspeed will have to look for another goal, but this is where their defense needs to look to stop the boys in purple.
Yeah, unfortunately, not enough good looks for Drago Unites, but immediately starting a counterplay for Godspeed, trying to find Jay. Hits it with a quick fake and finds it and sinks it. Fantastic follow-up.
Well, he's continued to be automatic and showing the clip doesn't empty around here. And for Godspeed, they've used the backboard quite well, and so far it's almost worked to perfection almost every single time. And it's kind of where you're looking at this keeper. He knows that these shooters right now they have so many options to go to, and they're just trying to see if they can make him uncomfortable, and that's what he's been.
Absolutely. Well, as the timer slowly dwindles down, it is going to be Godspeed's game here for game one. Dragons Unite trying to at least find a last second goal there with that last shot, but not able to find any purchase past Godspeed. And as we take a look here, we have Dragos Unite with a total of 8 passes. In fact, it's almost exactly mirrored except for Drago Hate having a total of 0 passes on board, a comparison
Mhm.
where everybody else on Godspeed Unite making sure that they get almost near that double digit point. We had 2 8s, 1 7, a 6, and a 5. So it seems that their passing plays are starting to connect a little bit more,
Mhm.
and hopefully they'll be able to have a couple more good looks in this next upcoming match.
Well, and this is kind of where in a best of three, Godspeed, you do not want to play with your food here. You have to go and look for it in game two because we've seen it at this level of rematch. It doesn't matter who's on the other side; they're at the pro level for a reason, and they're trying to see which top 16 teams makes it through into this Saturday. And it does look we may have a quick lobby remake, a little dispute there, and they kind of give everybody a unofficial hydration break to talk it over a little longer.
Absolutely. And talking about having to talk a little bit longer. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you follow the Godspeed Esports. If you want to follow anything that is Godspeed related, make sure that you follow up, stay tuned, and make sure that if you want to follow up and see any of the Godspeed shenanigans, make sure to join the Discord as well in the info card down below in the Twitch panels down there. It is very important that if you are interested to stay following up with Godspeed's shenanigans and their follow ups and winnings, make sure that you join the Discord, follow us on X, as well as to follow us on the Twitch channel.
Well, as they continue following through, I think Godspeed just trying to follow the momentum they did in game one. And how big was Jay? It just seemed that Jay maybe just had one shot get taken away from him. But I like the way this team was able to kind of just set the precedent here in game one, especially when you're trying to really put yourself in a dominant position.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Texas himself, the
Mhm.
goalkeeper for Godspeed. I mean, doing everything that he can, following up. I mean, the most important thing for goalkeepers is making sure that you stick to the basics, the goalkeeping 101, especially when they were trying to hit the high headers off the backboard. Any keeper knows that if it's a following up off the backboard, if you follow up on the rebound for it coming back, that is just easy eats for the goalkeeper to ensure that any play that they want to try and follow up for from Drago United, it's going to be canceled out. The only way to really beat it out is if you try and hit it with a quick header or even a soft lob to hit it even higher. But Animation Read comes into that, and it seems that Texas is all up to snuff in the playbook for that.
Well, I said everything's bigger in Texas and continue trying to get the big defense there in the net. We'll see how he continues to look on through. But I'm interested to see what the conversation's like here for Dragon Unite. This team can't put their head down. I think they have to look off to start off with the lead here in game two. It took you forever to find that first goal, but from then on in, it just seems that their offense just stifled out. They were kind of on their back heels for quite a bit, and it's where they're trying to see if they change this tempo up. If you're in that locker room right now for Dragon Unite, what will you be telling them kind of coming into this next game?
Well, the first game is always kind of a feeler game. You always want
Yeah.
to try and you have two options really in feeler games, and that's to try and take the time to read the other opponent, see exactly what they're going to be doing, or to show out and go all in. And I don't think Drago United shown us all they have to offer.
No.
They played a little bit slower. They did a couple of plays, but nothing too impressive on the scene. It was knocked out pretty quickly by their defense from Godspeed. So it just seems that they need to kind of take the time, slow it down, and they had that feeler. So now's the time to go all out, and hopefully they had the time, especially with this quick reconnection of the new lobby, to try and see what exactly is Godspeed's like clicking moments and see if they
Mhm.
can do anything to counter that for Godspeed.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 already upon us here in the first round of Swiss stage. And, when we talk about wins, Ellington, to be able to go 1-0 in Swiss, and you need 2 more series under your belt to potentially get yourself into Saturday. That's exactly where you want to be mentally as well as physically in terms of readiness.
Absolutely, and of course, since this is where you want to be in the Swiss stages. I mean,
Mhm.
you don't want to lose here, but you want
No.
to have good looks to be able to get up into tomorrow's. Oh, sorry, not tomorrow's. It is Saturdays, right?
Mhm. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, to be
Yes.
able to show up into Saturday, you want to be able to have these good looks because you don't want to get knocked out early,
Mhm.
or else that's just an all she wrote moment. You know, if you aren't able to perform in that Swiss, then maybe it's time to go back to the drawing board.
Well, the drawing board going to have a couple more pictures for us to paint here, ladies and gentlemen. It does see that we may have had an issue once again. A new lobby, unless everyone will reconnect here. And we love rematch, and it's just where these players want to make sure they put themselves in the most utmost position to have a fair game, and you can't ask for anything else here, Ellington.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, everything that you want inside a game like this for rematch is fairness. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
sportsmanship is absolutely big. We always see it inside NA. We see it always inside EU as well as Japan. Always there's a bunch of respect for both sides of teams. Every once in a while, there's like a dispute where it's like, okay, maybe this is kind of an issue, but everything is normally treated with that kind of reverence and respect, knowing that both teams have come here to compete. Both teams are
Mhm.
at the same exact level, so they both deserve the same exact respect that they give each other.
Well, the respect continues to mount, ladies and gentlemen. And, you look at that first qualifier and you see the placements, and we see it in NA, we see it in EU. You can do it in one weekend, but can you be able to do it multiple weekends? And we didn't see too many teams see themselves get back-to-back titles until I believe it was EU in qualifier 3 or 4. So it shows that scrims are scrims, but under the bright lights, that's when the pressure starts to set in. But no, I know you've had some playing experience yourself. How tough is it in these moments to kind of push those nerves down in a way and just say, I just got to play like nobody's watching?
Oh man, there's many ways to do that. I mean, it just really depends on what their own self practice is and what that is. So
Mm,
like for me myself personally, when I get a little when I need to try and get in that zone, because I myself am also a competitor in NA,
mhm.
music is always my
Okay.
go-to. I like to listen to a couple of my favorite game soundtracks, really, to try and get myself into that headspace. Maybe that really cool boss battle you had in like another game where you're like, yeah, that was so hype, you know? That's something that really sets you up for that success. Some people, I've actually heard that some players actually have like a pet bed next to them for their favorite companion to be able to try and get a couple pets in for that reset for their good boy or good girl, depending on the pet that you have. Fantastic dribbles. Oh my goodness, an immediate follow up, and they're okay. We have an immediate skip replay. We might see if there's going to be another lobby reset. I mean, I think that's a fair goal. I think everyone's kind of stunned. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, there it
everyone's
goes.
confused.
There's the reset.
Oh man. Well, music makes you lose control right now. Nobody knows what's going on here, and this it's been unfortunate. I think the goal will stand. It's just that was the fastest skip replay I think in rematch history here so far.
Yeah, it definitely seems that maybe someone had the skip celebration on, which is fine. I mean, like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, when you're practicing all the time, sometimes you're kind of in the rhythm, especially when you're like,
Hmm.
okay, like we gotta make
Hmm.
this custom. Yeah, add the 20 minutes, zero mercy rule. So I mean, like it happens more often than you think, right? Like
Yeah.
especially when the players are, it's almost like instinctual at that point when you're just like, okay, we
Hmm.
gotta go all the way down, turn this off, turn this on, turn that off, boom, we're done. So I mean, you know, I think that's complete. You know, like that's fine as long as it gets the reset and the goal counts. I think that's completely fine in my book.
Well, we're only about maybe a couple 60 seconds away from seeing if that goal will count. But looking around the land here in South America, it looks like we are one of the last games to finish up right now. And a lot of winners going on to the next round. See who potentially we play there. That's still going to be up in the air. But I think for Godspeed, it's just trying to say, hey, we've been iced a little bit, in American football terms. They're icing the kicker and they're icing us right now. We just got to come in here and not let that affect us, just be able to set right through. And it does look like we're re entering the lobby here. But, to talk about a mental reset a couple of times, Ellington.
Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but let's not forget that if this is happening and everybody else has already moved forward, that means everybody's been 2-0. And if everybody's been 2-0, maybe they need to take that time to cool off. I mean, wait for this game to be done and really try and figure out why the things that they were doing isn't happening. For those that got 2-0, to really take the time to really settle in and cement and say, hey, this is the big leagues, this is South America big leagues. We need to make sure that we are in top performance to be able to actually perform here. So maybe it's time for them to go back to that drawing board, especially as the this next game is underway. 5 seconds already passed for that first goal, and for the game to continue. Ball currently in Drago United's hands.
Dragon Unite in the green, Godspeed in the purple, and an open net. Samuel sees it, delivers, and able to push it through for a quick 2-0 here.
Absolutely. And I mean, the positioning that they have, I believe North America and Europe plays the exact same way. You have 3 people up, 2 people back. Obviously, you have your goalkeeper and your CB on the far wings to try and pass back and forth to each other. And sometimes if you don't release it quick enough, like we just saw, unfortunately for them, you're gonna get oppressed by one of the strikers, and just like that, it'll be a quick conversion. So it's always good it's a very dangerous move to have, but fortunately, it is the almost optimal way for to play currently with the current meta. With the volleys are still always going to be important, but obviously the tiki taka. So it's always going to be hard to try and figure out and find what is a new way to play. An unfortunate miss off that corner there.
But back into it. Godspeed off the crossbar twice. But that last one will be not denied. Let's see what happened here. Yeah, just miscommunication and an own goal, unfortunately, for Lost. And wow, Drago Unite. What looked to have been a long intermission, they're making this game go by extremely quick.
Absolutely. Dragon Unite is they're not having a lot of good looks here, a lot of miscommunications, people out of position. This is something that they're gonna have to really try and iron out if they want to survive the Swiss pools. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because Swiss pools, in my opinion, I think Swiss pools are more brutal than the bracket, because really, like, you don't really know who you're going up against. It could be a top tier team, it could be a low tier team, and no matter what, you just have to play it out, and it's gonna be the luck of the cards at that point.
The one thing I like is that they're playing it out. I know we see a lot in EU. Once this 3-0 goes, there's a lot of time left. You usually see that mercy roll goal come through, but now here in South America, they want to say, give us all the time, because you never know when there's still time on the clock. As Godspeed going to just try to find some space. Gallo for a shot on, trying a little heat check to see if they're able to just see that one go through.
Absolutely. And now immediate follow-up from Drago Unite, immediately trying to hit a pass. Let's see if they can find a quick play. They do have 2 people covering the box, and it does get knocked out by Godspeed's defender. Immediately following up and trying to pass it over to Jay on the left wing. They do find his Namor's trying to get a little bit of pressure. It does find Samuel, and Samuel slots it in the top left bins, putting it up 4-0. And if there is a mercy rule, it is game over, and Drago Unite is being knocked out.
Well, Samuel Kim there puts it through, and for Samuel, I believe got a brace, gets himself an MVP for the man coming out from underneath the earth.
Yeah, this is definitely not any type of good look from Drago Unite. I mean, definitely, if you are attending, that means that you are a very good team, but that just means that it's time to really try and mix something up. I mean, we saw some positional errors, some communication, possible communication errors. We just don't know, since we're not in their Discord call or TeamSpeak, if that's what they use. So it's kind of hard to really tell what kind of was
Well, round number 2 upon us here in South America here for the qualifier. Minus Wolfie Tua in the booth still with Ellington. Ellington, what a first round here for Godspeed. Kind of got to the work quickly. We're able to go out there and grab a sweep.
Yeah, absolutely, and I mean that's what you want to see from high tier teams trying to knock out anyone else that is kind of beneath them. But I mean, it gives the other team a chance to really try and like zone in on why they got beat, right? So even though that Dragon United did take that loss, they should at least hold their head up high and try and see what went wrong and why it went wrong. But now we're going to be having Godspeed versus Eon Gaming, which is, I believe Eon is top 5 in SA. That's right.
Yeah, that's what we're told. This is a team that can go all the way up until the 3rd spot here in this region. So a team that got 2nd versus a team that sees themselves trying to get to that point. But this should look like an absolute banger matchup. I believe Godspeed was able to play this team last week throughout the top 16, and we're able to get away with the win there.
Well, then, I mean, it's only time to see if history repeats itself or if someone learned from their mistakes. But there's only one way to find out. 6 minutes on the clock once again, and it is going to be Eon starting with the ball. Aka currently with the ball. They seem to be playing a little bit slow here. Samuel trying to make sure that he blocks the line, aka looking for a pass here, taking his time. He does have his left side open, and he also has Ryo open if he tries to hit the sidewall, but no, it does a close B shot, trying to hit it over the top box. Does get countered, and unfortunately not able to find any purchase as it get knocked out by the reigning defender, who's just a little bit too slow to get the collect.
Godspeed right now trying to see if they can work on quick. And also one thing that impressed me from them in that last game was how quickly they were able to come and get a lead, but quick breakaway right here. Eon, Texas, able to outstretch the hands there, and what will look like a guaranteed goal will just go a save for the man they call Texas.
That was very, very dangerous. I mean, you could definitely tell that Texas was trying to bait that far post, and that's why he was kind of keeping that far side open, trying to leave it open to try and force him into that position. Samuel immediately following up. I believe the keeper unfortunately dove the wrong way, and when it comes to the top box, he does have enough time to react to it, so maybe the nerves got to him a little bit. Oh no, he dove the right way. I guess I was just seeing things differently, but he was very close to getting it. I think he just dove a little bit too late on that replay from what I saw, but good look so far. Seems that both teams are ready and roaring to play.
Well, and that's just one where the set play there for Godspeed, just a little 1-2-3. I like the small little chip to allow for the man to still have Prio there with the EE, but Eon right now trying to take this goal away, will not be able to hit a teammate right in front of net. That looked like a prime position, but now Godspeed on the breakaway.
Immediately, Samuel taking that touch. Now in a 1v2 situation. A fantastic X-pass attempt, but it does get blocked out by Eon's keeper, aka moving up slowly, trying to find a pass. They definitely seem... Eon reminds me of a little bit of lockdown from NA, just because I like to try and bring forth the differentiation between both teams, and maybe try and like connect people with all around the regions. But lockdown really loves to try and set the pace of the game, where they try and force people into a slower pace, try and hit them on a quick immediate run after, trying to force them into an awkward position, trying to force Godspeed to slow down, because as you can see, Godspeed's attack, they're constant, they're persistent, they're forcing themselves forward, but unfortunately the tempo set by Godspeed is a little too fast for Eon.
Godspeed working quick here. Great job to be able to beat the first man, and from there the unself finish off the backboard. Godspeed saw a lot of that earlier in their first series, and right back to it. A quick 2-0 here, getting close to halftime, 30 seconds away from it, 3.5 minutes left. But I like the fact that Godspeed come in. They're playing against another top team here in the region, and they're finding ways here in game number 1 to really get good looks.
Absolutely. Now, AK currently with the ball, the keeper. So Nito's going to have to retreat to cover the ball. A fantastic follow up. Host just a little bit too slow to get the follow up. Trying to hit a wide dive to try and get the ball away from Texas, but unfortunately for him, it does find its hands into Texas himself. Gallo trying to cut Samuel on the run. Does get knocked out by the defender. Still in the hands of Godspeed though. Trying to hit out some dribble news, and he does find it, passing it back over to middle field. Trying to find Jay on a run, trying to hit a sidewall over the top box. Now he takes a touch, immediately hits a back pull, and hits that drag, and it follows up, and Samuel finds it on the far post. The keeper trying to dive, but just a little too late as he is just too close.
A beautiful chance there, and Godspeed have been finding ways to pop this ball up for another man with a lot of space there, and I'm liking the way that they're able to kind of create a lot of these passing lanes for themselves. It really looked like potentially just empty lanes. They're finding ways to populate it, finding ways to get it going. But with 2:35 remaining, Godspeed up by 3, trying to see if they can get one more for the mercy roll before time expires. But if you're Eon, you're still looking for that first goal here in game 1.
Absolutely. And from that last goal, there was a lot of hesitation actually from AKA. I mean, when Samuel came a little too close into that box, AKA had the option to be able to take that stuff, but he opted in for that 50-50 dive, which is quite deadly. I mean, it's hard to try and make those last second decisions and try and make them accurately. So that's something that they as a team are probably going to have to talk out a little bit more. Fantastic drag and a quick save by Texas as they try and hit that close post, trying to test Texas's reactions. But fortunately for him, his reactions are just too quick as they still keep that 3-point lead.
I thought that was goal for sure, but Texas showing off the moves right there. Beautiful save once again, but still going to fall into the foot of a purple defender there for Eon. But cut out quickly. Texas going to work on here as Gallo can see if he can gallop himself, find a pass, find a net. As a beautiful job here by the keeper. Eon able to ward that one away and try to allow his team to go on the hunt.
See, like right there in that instance, AK allowed Samuel to be able to enter his box, and he could have taken the time to stuff him. He had the room. There was nobody else in the box. The only thing that Samuel could have done was take a touch to try and outbeat keeper, but he did not. He just stood there on his line. So, I mean, that kind of shows his keeper style. It seems that he is he's more of a line keeper. Fantastic bait. Let's see if they're able to finish it here. Samuel Kern with the ball, trying to hit it on the far post, but does get stopped by AK. But I mean, it's very important with the keeper style to be able to play hybrid, to be able to play as an aggressive and line keeper and trying to keep the balance of both. Because just as a striker needs to try and outpace the keeper has to outpace the striker. It has to be a battle of mental between the two on who has basically the higher mental and who has the higher mental game to be able to play these tricks, to be able to make the striker think, okay, is he going to pressure me or is he not, or is this ball going to stay away? But that's going to be game over for Eon for the first match as it goes into Godspeed's favor, trying to get one last clear and last touch, and it doesn't find any purchase as Texas gets that ball, squaring it away for them to not even get a point on the board. 3 points up, Godspeed up 1 match.
Well, this is where Godspeed was able to do some great work in their first series, and it looks like the momentum coming through. Another clean sheet here for the Wolves, and for the boys in black and yellow here tonight. I like the way they're able to kind of take away a lot of the press that we're seeing from a lot of these teams, but kind of have to highlight Texas. There was a couple one-on-ones there where 9 times out of 10 a lot of these top strikers are going to see themselves put a goal through, but he was able to come up big with the save.
Absolutely. And that's all that really matters for him at this point, is just being able to make sure that he's able to continue with these good looks for his team, to be able to continue to look good on that pitch, to prevent any placement from Eon, especially them being that top 3 team. So Godspeed going up 1 match. They are having good looks against Eon as we go into the second game. The team Godspeed starting us off, with the possession.
Well, Godspeed right now going to see if they can work to the namesake and This team just does so well with pressure. Their ability to kind of put a team in their back heels is what I've liked seeing here in these first two series of the day for themselves. But still a lot of day potentially still for them. Panda slightly wide, will retain possession there, trying to beat everybody. But a wide shot once again will just go as a no-go in the first 30 seconds for Godspeed.
Absolutely, and they immediately find Ryo on the clear. It is just a 1v3 situation with Hose currently up kind of alone. You did see on the right wing, Deck was making his way, but unfortunately, Jay and Gallo was there to be able to make any stops. Now, Texas currently at the ball, slowly trying to find a play here. Hose trying to make sure that he covers any lines. They are playing a little bit more of an aggressive I forgot what it's called, but it's where you're trying to make sure that every man is covered at this. A high press is what it's called, where every man is kind of pressured except for the one at the far wing. And they had the option to be able to have I believe it was Ryu pressure the ball handler to be able to force that bad pass, but it just seems that it was just a little bit too far. Jay getting that ball and knocking it back over to Texas to continue Godspeed's play.
Well, Godspeed right now, so far the longest they've gone without a goal, but the team, we'll see how the methodical play does have two teammates potentially go to. Decides to go for Samuel, was automatic in that last series, but we'll just have to wait a little longer. And, that's kind of where we're seeing the backboard. And we don't really see that being used too much in the other regions due to a lot of keepers being able to kind of predict it a little bit more. And you're seeing AK right now doing the exact same thing. Has had a good job of just kind of just holding himself and not trying to react too much on it.
Yeah. Oh, and Ryu immediately able to find a slot on the right side. I wasn't able to get a good look at it, but let's see this replay here. A quick pass from the keeper. The defender was just a little too far behind and not able to get a high jump to get a stop. So that puts Eon Gaming up 1 for them to be able to have a little bit of momentum in this game number 2, as now Godspeed is now needing to put on the pressure to be able to find an equalizer, but they have a total of 1 game to play with in this best of 3, so I'm sure there's not there's not many bullets being sweated from Godspeed at this moment.
Not at all. Went off the crossbar there, potentially put us right back to equal, and that's kind of where I'm happy I get to see Godspeed play from down against the top team here in the Swiss bracket. You never want to get tested on Saturday in the top 16, where it's the first time you really see a team kind of match your level. And for Godspeed, can you be able to come back down a goal? Not too much to ask for, as that second one will have to wait a little longer. Getting close to halftime here in game number 2. Eon trying to tie the series up in this one.
It was a fantastic attempt from Eon to have a good look at that quick 6 pass. You can see that they got the 6 packs off, but unfortunately for him, for Eon, they got a drag which pulled him all the way over to right 6. For if anyone plays, they know where that is, but that is just on the right side of the goal line. Fantastic follow up by Jay as they find the equalizer for Godspeed. Now it is back to 1-1, putting it up to anyone's game at this current moment in time. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the clock.
I like their ability there to kind of stretch the defense out. You saw them go wide, tear the wall, and maybe that's potentially what gave them the route inside the box, especially for that second attempt onto net. But Godspeed all equal now. This is where this squad trying to see if they can put the pressure in on Eon. And Eon, it's easy to forget it's the best of 3. This team loses this game, they see themselves going down to the lower portion of the bracket, but trying to keep themselves here in the upper portion just a little while longer. We'll see if they can find anything in the next 2.5 minutes.
Absolutely. Well, they did try and find another right 6, but just a little bit too far as that finds its in the hand as the ball finds its hands in Texas. Texas immediately moving up, getting a far volley over to Jay, back passing over to Gallo. 2 people on, Huss and what was that, Deck currently on. Then they do get the ball conversion. Eon trying to find a quick push forward, but Jay with a beautiful slide to keep the ball inside Godspeed's possession. Still 1-1 on the board, up 1 game on Godspeed's end. This either could be a finisher for Eon and they will be out and going into the lower parts of the Swiss, or Godspeed will take it away and they will have to take a loss and be forced into a game number 3, but we'll have to find out here with 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. The ball now in Eon Gaming's hands.
Well, you're seeing Godspeed in that last attack. I like that they're slowing things down. We've seen this team on such a speed press here where they're kind of just throwing everybody into the box, trying to see if they find someone or an extra pass. But this is where they're knowing possession is going to be key towards the back end. Samuel able to take that away. Beautiful chance. Does have Panda on the other end. We'll see what he comes up with, as he will be able to get this off his feet, but won't find a teammate. Just going to be a battle there in corner. We'll see what they're able to find. Samuel, bottom left corner, small touch, big goal.
Fantastic follow up from Godspeed, and they are definitely once again putting Eon back in their place, trying to remind them that, hey, we went against you once and we'll win against you again this time around, making sure that Eon is trying to just not keep the pace that they want. And as I said previously, they started to look a little bit like Lockdown, about how they're just forcing everything to be super slow against them. An unfortunate deflect as it falls in, putting it up 2-2, an equalizer on Eon's side.
Wow, usually you don't see a keeper get credited with the goal, and unfortunately, I believe that may have came off of Jay, and just a small lob into the back of the net is all they needed. And Godspeed, what looked like a running away party potential win, now have to try to come in and play spoiler here late. We'll see if they can try to get this in regulation, or will we see our first overtime of the evening? Samuel try to say no, but a great job be able to keep that one alive here for the boys in purple.
Absolutely. Currently, AK currently with the ball moving up. You can definitely see they've gained a little bit of composure now that they know that they have the equalizer. They can take it into overtime, so they're slowing it down again. AK with the ball, forcing himself up the pitch, going up quick. He does find him, and Haas takes the shot. Eon sinking it, but unfortunately for Eon, Godspeed will be taking the last touch, and they will be able to have the ability to have a last attack. They could have time wasted a little bit longer to force the overtime and get the golden goal. Unfortunately for them, with the amount of pressure that Godspeed started to put on, they did not allow that to happen. So Godspeed starting us off for that last attack.
Oh, this is where, for Godspeed, taking it overtime, they might have a chance here. Give it back to a teammate. They do see it, Jay. He was electric in the first series, and now putting the battery on the back of Godspeed here in game 2.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Jay was not ready to get knocked out into the lower Swiss bracket this time around. He said, absolutely no, thank you, sir, as he knocks it back in, putting that that 1 point differential as if it was nothing, immediately putting us into that overtime. AK starting us out, immediately passing it over to Naoda, immediately trying to find a quick pass over to Dak, and another deflect! Another unfortunate deflect, and that goes into Eon's favor, finding it in the back of Godspeed's net, knocking them down and putting us into a game number 3.
Yeah, I think if you're Jay there, it's the second time it happened here this game, and you can just potentially say maybe there's some voodoo magic there on the side of Eon, but the boys, for Eon, able to stay alive, tying this series up 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to defense, it makes it really, really hard for you to have to make these last second decisions to be able to force the ball where you exactly want it to go. And it just seems that maybe there needs to be a little bit more of a defined line for their team to try and make sure, because we don't see a lot of deflects in NA and EU. It happens. I won't say it won't, right? That would be incorrect. No, that happens a lot. But being able to have the training and the self-resistance to hit the wide dive towards the net, because sometimes with the ball trajectory you have to dive towards net, and unfortunately if you do that, the ball is going to take that momentum in the net. So something has to change a little bit with the blocking here. It happened twice for Jay, and I hope he's able to take these notes down for him to realize, hey, maybe diving towards the net, even though it is sort of one of the better options here, if he's in front of his man, he can just take the slight left or slight right dive to still get the ball deflection and away from the net.
Well, this is now where all the chips on the table right now. Godspeed, Eon, fighting for their upper bracket life. Game number 3 here, and the team who scores first has done a good job of being able to take games here in the first 2 games of series number 2. Godspeed trying to get right onto it. Panda with the shot there will just be caught and pushed away, as it will be a battle here towards the midline.
Well, they try to get an immediate clear, but unfortunately for them, it did not find it. But Haas immediately trying to push himself into that box, and Gallo says no with that stab to keep the ball now in Godspeed's possession. Jay on the left wing, Deck trying to do everything he can. A fantastic push and deflect by him. Immediately following up, now currently with the ball, Deck being pressured by Gallo. Gallo beats it and does take the pass back over to Texas to start their counterplay for Godspeed. A minute and 20 seconds now off the clock. We are now 4 minutes in, 4 minutes and 40 seconds left. Let's see if we can find any continuation. Beautiful play, and Jay finishes it up with a fantastic bait and push in by the finisher of Jay.
Well, Godspeed has gone away from the backboard, but this one, they know what their bread and butter was. Everybody on high alert there for Eon, but nobody able to get in the way. Beautiful job here for Godspeed. Kind of draw that one up and be able to be successful on it. First one to score is themselves, but it's going to be Eon trying to get back to the scoring ability they had back in game number 2.
Absolutely. AK immediately passing over to Deck on B. He does fake his touch, forcing Jay to take that dive once again. And unfortunately for them, they weren't able to find any purchase. Beautiful stab by Deck, making Gallo lose the ball. Eon still up in the play. There's currently 2 boys up, trying to hit their striker on a run, but it does get blocked out by Jay once again. Gallo getting pressured, but far past it over to Panda. Panda moving up quickly on the left field, hitting an extra effort, trying to see if he can hit Samuel on a run. It does find it, but fortunately for them, Ryo gets the prio win and knocks it away.
Well, this is now a chance. Gallo able to come back to help out, and Texas off the fingertips before he reached into the goal will be able to come up with the save, but that one looked like an equalizer here, Ellington.
It absolutely did, but beautiful stop by Texas. Once again, I mean, he's doing everything right as a keeper, making sure that he keeps keeping that position. A close follow-up. I wasn't sure he was going to actually win that possession, that quick X pass in, but it was really close on the follow-up, but unfortunately no ball. Jay basically bullying Haas as he had the ball possession, gets stabbed once, it loses his possession, gets knocked back into Haas's feet, and Jay hits him again. The absolute abuse happening on the field here, but Godspeed immediately trying to follow up with a quick play.
Well, that one was one where I saw, and he just had nowhere to go there. Just unfortunately got put into a blender, and that blender just continued to hurt it every which way. But right now, Eon on the back line will give it to their keeper past midline. We've seen Godspeed score in these positions before as Texas picks it up. Long shot. Can they find it? Will it go? But this will not. The diving save enough for the savior.
That is heartbreaking when you as a keeper, I mean, I know when you see it, you know you can hit it, but you have to rely on that extra effort to knock it out. And unfortunately, just not enough power and wasn't able to hit that far enough breakaway. But Texas, undeterred, moving past the halfway point, hitting Panda hitting Jay and hitting it, knocking up to Samuel taking that miss, but it's still in Godspeed's possession. Jay currently with the ball, hitting it back in, it might be in, no, a quick fake out, Samuel knocks it back in. Beautiful follow-up as Samuel's looking on fire today.
What a chance here by Godspeed, and the bicycle pass going right through and being able to continue having his eyes fully locked on it. Godspeed gives himself a 2-goal cushion, but is it enough here against Eon, who have not seen themselves get a goal just yet? And I think for Godspeed, the one comfortable fact about the defense is saying that, hey, they scored 2 last game off the deflections. It wasn't that our defense broke down. It's just that, unfortunately, the ball just didn't bounce in the direction we hope it did.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, there's only a matter of time to see what exactly is going to happen here. Beautiful block by Haas, a beautiful wide dive, but it still falls in the hands of Godspeed. Jay currently at the ball, trying to find his striker, Samuel, and he does find him. Hits the far tries to hit it far, but unfortunately just a little bit too far out of the box, allowing the keeper to have enough time to reaction. Hitting it on the 6. Beautiful counter. Immediately Gallo trying to hit it with that X pass, hitting the wall, and Texas getting a quick grab, forcing forcing them in that bad position. 1 minute left. They have to score 2 goals in 30 seconds if Eon wants to do anything here. But Godspeed is just locking them down and preventing any sort of breathing room that they might want.
Yeah, you got to suffocate them, put them in a spin cycle where now it's saying, can you be able to hold your head above water? And it's Panda trying to kick this one away. We'll have some warranty there near the nets as right now Eon trying to see if they can find anyone with some open threat.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Double post outs. Oh, Eon, they must be hitting their heads on their desk right now. Immediately trying to hit that in. Haas, so accurate, but unfortunately a little bit too far, and it double posts out.
We have seen so much in rematch ever since we started commentating it, and that's one where I think it was my first time seeing a double post, and that's where you're saying what can go right here. Eon just feels like things have just not been with them here in game number 3, but might have a chance to make it interesting here late. We'll just go for a deflection. 2 seconds remaining, one more won't matter as a last shot. Texas holds on to it, and Godspeed moves up and on to the next round, undefeated here so far in Swiss stage. They'll go to the 2-0 bracket.
Those were absolutely fantastic looks for Godspeed. Eon did absolutely everything that they could. Unfortunate for that double post. But even with that double post, they would have had only 6 seconds to cross the field, it was, right? So they just wouldn't have had enough time to even make it past to at least get that one more conversion goal that they needed so desperately to make it. But that is going to be the end. A fantastic fantastic best of 3 game. Godspeed winning the first. Eon coming back with the second with 2 unfortunate goals from wide deflects from Jay, but immediately undeterred, Godspeeds finishes it up in that game 3 and knocks Eon out with that 2-point lead.
Well, and this is now going to put them to where everybody in round number 3 has not lost a game. So, ladies and gentlemen, one of the best matches of the day about to come on to the stream. Which one of these teams moves on to day number 2 undefeated, and which one's going to have to play a round 4 match? That answers are soon going to come after this quick break. Welcome in here, ladies and gentlemen. Day 1 of South America Rematch Qualifier number 2. My name is Wolfie Tua, in the booth with a familiar face and a familiar name, Taquito. We find out here in Sam.
Here we go. Sorry, mic was muted. We're going to try this one more time. Hey, how we doing? All right. But I have been waiting, dude. I have been waiting to fly down south for this one. I have seen a couple of Sam tournaments played. It was a while back, but these guys down here, they play a completely different ball game. So yeah. I am incredibly excited that you got this team hooked up here with Godspeed. We get a chance to get down some South American Rocket League, and I say Rocket League. Look at me, rematch. We get South American rematch. It's on the brain, dude. We got all kinds of things coming up here in the fall season. But man, oh man, this is the biggest chance we have. The RME qualifier here for Godspeed.
You know, I'm happy you said that because I have to physically fight my brain sometimes not to say Rocket League instead of rematch.
It's so hard, man.
It's so tough. But ladies and gentlemen, what's tough right now is a best of 3 series. 6 minutes underway. Nakoma versus Godspeed here in game number 1.
Now, I mean, obviously, you and we talked about this pickup when it happened. So, I mean, I'm kind of aware of your team, and it does look like a lot of similar members have come over, so I'm very happy to see that. I do recognize a lot of names here on the Godspeed roster. It's this other roster, Nakoma. It's going to be my first time ever seeing them. So I am pretty excited right now. I would like to see how these teams shape up, and we've got a heat check off the rip here from Nakoma.
Yeah, Nakoma's saying, well, welcome to the stream. Welcome to South America, and we're going to try to put ourselves in full display. And that's the one thing that we get, especially here for the English broadcast. Make sure, ladies and gentlemen, to go back to the Rematch eSport channel, the main one, the Play RME. You'll see the Portuguese main broadcast over there. But you know, it's a great aspect of us being able to compare regions now. The ability to say, all right, EU likes to do this, NA likes to do this, Sam, they like to play a whole different ball game, and we'll see which play style at the end of the day finds itself the most impressive. But Samuel says, all eyes on me. I got the first goal.
And this is the thing, dude. It is a very simple pass kick goal. I mean, look, he's got all the time in the world. He's got everybody kind of dancing around. That wide left corner is open, and you've got to make the correct choice to dive. And if you don't do it in time, you're not going to catch that. So unfortunately for Magas, that one's tough to have to watch go through, but great goal from Samuel, number 1.
Samuel has been electric all day long. Saw himself miss day number 1 last week throughout the qualifier due to power outage. And, you know, this is the first time we were talking to Ellington a little bit about this. You know, last week, due to unfortunate power issues and storms in Brazil, a lot of players didn't have a chance to really get themselves playing. Godspeed, first time in this qualifier, is they actually have all 5 competing together.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Okay, hang on. So was that for Godspeed or was that for Nakoma? You said that's Godspeed, right?
For Godspeed, correct. Yeah.
This is the first time they've all competed together. That's incredible, man. That's what we love to see too. Like, obviously, as well, I'm wondering who this player 1000-7 is. I've got the rosters pulled up here, but that feels like feels kind of like we were talking anime before. It feels like a Tokyo Ghoul reference.
You know, these players love to be able to make our head scratch. When I saw the -7, I thought he was going rematch for skipping replays as a quick chance to watch a replay there. Won't see it. Is Jay going to have to run his way back? It's going to be all Nakoma out there on the counter.
This is, I mean, obviously, Nakoma's got a lot going for him right now. They had a good high press. Got one going to the right, Rainbow, or excuse me, not a Rainbow, is a Blade. Pass over to the left. That's a good cross, too. There was a lot of space over on the opposite side of the box. But just, I love the way we're seeing Godspeed play defense. Like, they're not too deep. They're not too smothering, but they've got good marks so far.
Well, and this is a team that I feel after last week, they want to continue showing that dominance here in the region. They can do so. Last week, telling Ellington, they went 3-1, lost their first match of the day that in terms of the series, and from then on, they swept the rest of the competition. And I just think this team, you know, it's so tough in your first qualifier to feel completely ready. There's always a little bit of nerves. There's always a little bit in the back of your head. But do you feel for every team in this region, knowing that this is qualifier number 2, you have one on your belt, kind of gives you a little bit more confidence coming into this weekend?
Yeah, it does feel, I mean, at least having the one tournament underneath you, it does probably feel better. What was their finishing? Did you just talk about their ending result?
Godspeed got second, and that was, I believe, without Samuel.
Okay, so you have a full team and you got second without what seems to be the star of the show for Godspeed so far. I was watching that second series, and I mean, dude, we can't talk about that second series without bringing up Samuel's game 3 performance. It was absolutely incredible. But as for this team, back wall play there, it could be something, but no, Goalkeep is going to pick that one up with ease. And again, I'm trying to get everybody's name down here. So it looks like the 1,000 minus 7 might be Dahora, is what I'm seeing here on the roster sheet. But we got Incertity, Dahora, Killy, Better, and Magas, and we've got another goal going in for Jay. Are you kidding me? Let's watch this one back.
You know, Jay has just been incredible all day long. Saw himself really make a name for himself in series number 1. A little 1-2-3 play. Jay able to get the second goal on here for Godspeed.
Now, so you got to watch all night long so far. What are the weapons here on your team, Wolfie? Like, I got to know, like, give me some insight. What have you seen so far?
You know, I've seen Jay kind of be able to play a role both on the defensive side, but on the offensive side. And, you know, as today started, I actually thought he was going to have more goals to his name until Samuel started stepping up. Jay in game number 1, I believe, he got himself 4 goals in that mercy rule. So, you know, he saw himself have a really hot night to get going, but I'm loving the way Godspeed plays with a lot of composure. They know how to switch up the speeds here. They play quick. They're able to slow things down, and you know their ability to adapt has really impressed me.
Yeah. So what you're trying to tell me here is Jay might be the cam. Does Jay play up as well as like assisting and scoring?
Of course. Yeah, no, he has been. We've seen him play up a little bit more, not really for some of those assists, but more off to finish a lot of these goals here. And you saw there almost a chance. And, you know, they love to be able to use Samuel as that middle portion of that striker position, but he's been so unselfish to give off a lot of shots here towards Jay that you're seeing both of them have some easy looks and some great work.
And so I'm guessing the way I also see the setup too, Gallo is probably the anchor. Yeah, Gallo plays back pretty much all the time. He plays in the box.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job here on the back line, really stopping some of these passes. You see there, just a quick little cutaway from him, but you know, he's doing a good job playing that mid portion, and he's been accurate on a lot of these passes tonight.
I like that. So Jay, it looks like Jay and Panda. So I'm going to assume does Panda play defense a little bit more as well? Like, yeah, I did hear Panda. Oh, that was top right. Let's get a look at this one again. That was good from Nakoma. I mean, the time is garbage time if we're going to be honest about it, but that was good from Nakoma.
I guess this gives a good chance here to continue highlighting the players here of Godspeed. And you know, you don't mind allowing one, especially a great team like Nakoma, but final shot won't be enough. That's going to go game number 1 goes to Godspeed. And look at that, Gallo got the MVP.
Yeah, no, I was wondering too, like I'm sitting here trying to like make sure I get all these players down and stuff and I understand their positioning. And like I said, I feel like Panda might be the CDM. Panda feels like that guy who's kind of like in the back, but in the mix. Like I said, I did hear you kind of bring him up as a guy who maybe a potential scoring threat. And your CDM is somebody you absolutely want to be in that position. It looks like Gallo played back a lot. So obviously Gallo's going to be your anchor. He's going to be your CB. And Jay looks like a wonderful cam for Samuel right now. So like, looks like Samuel's taking the role of striker up front. I mean, that's pretty much all I saw Samuel do this game. But hey, this team's looking good right now. One game the better so far in this series.
Yeah, this team has been looking great. You know, and this is a squad that I believe has been together for over 6 months, and they played Lance together. They've been able to continue grinding, and you know, I love being able to see that from any team in any region. The ability to kind of stick together, I feel, is its own superpower in itself.
It really is, man. I mean, you know, in our region, guys are bouncing around all over the place. Like they're going for whatever team they could possibly get on. But we got to start at game number 2. A little bit of a jersey change. It looks like we've got Nakoma in the red and Godspeed rocking the white.
Well, Godspeed right now walking traditional colors, trying to see themselves come up quick as Texas. Quick deflection there, but what a great shot to see itself open up things here for this team out in orange.
Oh, is it orange? My bad. I guess I'm colorblind. I said red. Look at me. But yeah, hey, good heat check early on too for Nakoma. I mean, that last goal, you and I know, off the side, that was a shot there but unfortunately not good enough to go in. But you and I know from our main game that we come from, that one goal going into the next game could clearly matter a lot.
Yes. It just gives you that ability to say, hey, we got one. We didn't get put into an over situation, and we're able to come in here and know we can score. And for a lot of teams to be able to get that done in game one and not have to look for it later, you see the desperation start to minimize on those type of teams. But for Godspeed, what will they find? Jay header, won't see it. Crossbar, second attempt here for Samuel. Will he have enough room? Trying to create some, and a small shot will fall.
Man, dude, Samuel has, as a guy who's listed on the roster, by the way, as the captain, this is a star-studded showing right now from our captain here for Gods.
Yes, it is, and you're seeing him really play well, and I'm liking that Godspeed has kind of just put themselves right in a position to kind of dominate and kind of set the tone here early in a lot of these games. And the crossbar shot there almost put us all at level.
That dude, Nakoma's now had a couple of opportunities, man. I'm not saying Texas is asleep at the back, but Nakoma has had some really good looks at the net of Godspeed, and I'm genuinely surprised they have not found purchase.
And just to kind of come up a little bit more, talking about the positions, I was able to find the official positions here. Jay, the offensive wing. Panda coming in as a defensive wing. Gallo,
Jay, so Panda is the CDM. Yeah. Panda's the CDM.
And then, they have Samuel as a pivot. Not a striker, a pivot.
Yeah, I was looking at that. I was wondering what pivot meant. I was very curious by how it was listed, but I have the roster pulled up here too. So again, Samuel seems to be playing pretty much up all the time. And I do like the fact that Jay has made themselves available like on a lot of the wing plays that we have seen. And so it's one of those moments where you do wonder what the crux of the team kind of is right now. And what I can tell is it does genuinely feel like this team relies pretty heavily on getting the ball to maybe Jay and getting the ball up to Samuel. Samuel's got a lot of good movement. The ball's been picked up again. Great deflect. We got the ball still in possession. Nakoma. Whoa, that was a good one touch. Oh my. Unfortunate there for Nakoma on Godspeed's box. That was actually a really good play.
And Samuel just had an open portion, but it did look like potentially no stamina for him. So, the counterattack kind of have to wait a little longer. Panda, nobody in his vicinity. Jay, will it seem, and this team has continued to use three for a lot of these passing plays.
Yeah, Magas, again, getting some good defensive blocks here. That went off the back wall, though. May not look good. It's still out for a little bit. Nakoma gets a chance to play with possession a little bit longer. They might find a knife fight in the corner. There's a good stab. Picked up, I believe, by Jay themselves. And we're getting the ball. Yeah, okay. You want to get the ball out of there and moving in the best way possible. I do like the breakaway opportunity. Samuel gets a nice shot towards the net. It will go back to Magas again, who is stepping up big time in this series right now, even though they are down one.
What I saw there was that, we saw Jay kind of be the defensive masterclass in the back line. Gallo, he followed all the way until midline. Jay was able to catch up for themselves, and they both were able to switch that position. So, they're really making sure that, we talked about that cam roll here for Jay. They're letting him being able to be flexible, and I think that's what makes him so dangerous. He's a person that's just a playmaker, likes to have the ball at his feet because he can find plays like this. Samuel gets his second.
One thing I've noticed, too, is we're not seeing a lot of plays that utilize this back wall defense. It does look like Sam probably isn't. Maybe they don't like that. Maybe as a region so far, they don't like that back wall play because Samuel himself is getting away with a lot of these pass kick low into the net, which, hey, sneaky tactics are sneaky tactics, but you got to get it how you live in this game of Rematch.
Well, what we saw a lot from game number one, I believe Jay had a hat trick on headers off the backboard. So okay. I think this team, I think this team right now they play different styles in each of these series. Crazy enough, in the second series that they played here today against Eon, I saw them go for a minimum of maybe 2 shots off the backboard in that one. So maybe they have a game plan here. They've been able to have their coach be able to draw some stuff up, and I like the fact that they're trying to not be linear here on their attacks and kind of showing out depending on who the opponent is.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. Is they're obviously getting the goals where they need them, and they're able to collect them very quickly. But this has been just an amazing offensive showing here from Godspeed. As the seconds tick down, Nakoma could get another one. They do. This time they have a lot more time though. They take away this one, they get possession back. I mean, Wolfie, a lot can happen in 23 seconds, but in the game of rematch, that may not be enough time. But that's still a great goal from Killy.
Well, now it's going to be up to Godspeed. How well is your ability to hold on to possession, not allow for too much action to happen on your side? But you do invite a bit of danger. Samuel has a couple to beat here. We'll just give it off to the back line of Gallo as we'll just give up possession. Now Texas, tough position. Can he get it? We'll get a deflection. But last shot's still going to come in as this one not over yet.
What a amazing deflect from Texas right there. But they're going to go up the middle with this one on the side of Nakoma. And I'm liking what I'm seeing there. Go for the back wall as well. Can they get the possession? No! What a grab from Texas. He left the box completely. No holds bar. Gave everything for that dive. And that one goes over to Godspeed. What a quick 2-0 here.
Yeah, Godspeed did their job, got to work, and they punched their ticket into Saturday. A perfect bracket for themselves. Were able to go through undefeated, only dropping one game in that last round of Eon. This team played impressive today. I think they kind of shook off their first week jitters, and now coming in, they feel a little more situated in this region, especially here in these qualifiers.
No, that's exactly what you want to see too, especially being picked up now by you guys over here at Godspeed. We kind of have that looming lore of new org buff, you know what I mean? Or new org debuff. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But right now, that debuff ain't happening whatsoever. These guys have gone through completely clean in their qualifier. 3 up, 3 down here for Godspeed on day 1.
And this is kind of where they can kind of sit back, rest, and go watch the main channel, the main Portuguese channel happening right now, Play RME, who we will be rating after this, ladies and gentlemen. So you don't have to click off of here. You don't have to go find anything. We'll take you there ourselves. But, Taquito, I think Godspeed, they kind of came into today knowing that this was kind of the plan for themselves. And, it worked to perfection. And now they got to, have a good deserved break, kind of watch some games until Saturday.
That is true. They can get some tape on some people moving forward alongside themselves. But I want to kind of take a look here. Maybe if we have some results recorded, let me pull it up. I want to see if they have the other team that might have gone through as well. Right now, SPK is up 1-0. Okay, yeah, I was going to say SPK has to go through. Yeah. If I know anything, I know the org name SPK. Then you have Unknown and ID. Okay, so you have Unknown Raymond and Ivory Dragonflies. All these names are cool. Hold on.
Yeah.
Unknown is up 1-0 currently. And they may also go through like that. So right now, at least recorded, you have SPK and Godspeed 2-0 on day 1.
Well, you have your first and your second seed right there, kind of doing the business, doing the work that they needed to. And, that's exactly what you want from a team. And they kind of had a day today where, unfortunately, they had no struggle. And I say unfortunately, it's because you like to be able to battle through a game. Yes, they had one game that they lost before going in on Saturday. And you want to get those bumps and bruises out of the way. But I think for Godspeed, they're feeling healthy, they're feeling good. And interesting to see what their coach is going to have to say about it here in the off time.
Yeah, no, that's going to be awesome, man. And honestly, I think I'm going to be looking forward to tomorrow. Hey, if I could be here, man, I would love to be here on some of the games as well. If I can't, it is what it is. I'm going to be watching from the side. But, dude, I am excited here because it's a brand new region for my eyes. I've only seen a couple of tournaments. I've only seen a couple of games. But if I can get locked in over here because of my boy Wolfie, got the direct link to the Godspeed content, then I mean, hey, I'm gonna keep my eyes tapped in.
No, hopefully we do get an English broadcast there for Saturday. Unfortunately, we only have the rights here for day number 1, as everyone usually
That's all
knows.
good.
Day 2 usually happens for main broadcast, but I'm hearing behind the scenes that there may or may not be an English broadcast on top of the Portuguese one, and that's still up in the air. And I don't want to take too much. Tibbles, you're probably watching at home saying, Wolfie, yes, the people at home want English broadcast, and so do I, because we get a chance to potentially be on there, Taquito. But before we head out of here, any words to Godspeed before they go into Championship Saturday?
Biggest thing for me, man, always, I mean, you guys play the game. Y'all know it better than I do. You know what it's like to be in that high pressure situation. It is understanding your opponent, like understanding that you have one opponent at a time. You do not need to worry about the next game ahead of you. You need to worry about what's right in front of you. What do I always say, Wolfie? It's how you show up on the day. It does not matter what seed differential is. It doesn't matter if they're a lower seed, a higher seed. If you think they're easier, it matters who shows up on the day. And you just got to show up Saturday. But regardless of that, what I saw tonight, guys, y'all are impeccable. And I cannot wait to see Saturday's tournament.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, that's it for us. But there's still more Rematch on the Play RME channel, which we'll be rating to right after this. Akito, I couldn't have said it any better myself. I think this team is going to